Hey, it's MK, and I am here with a mixed media mayhem recipe for you guys today, as well as joining Christy's Beautiful Life for 30 days of sketches. And I'm going to use this amazing sketch by Tara Van Moorsel. And I am also using a color Craze combination. What? This is crazy. And look at that. It has pink. Oh, my stars. So luckily, I found the amazing Sandy Reversky, who is State Goddess here on YouTube, in an amazing pink vest. So there is my pink. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it always seems like when I need Sandy to wear the perfect outfit for a color Craze, she's wearing one. So thank you, Sandy. Okay, so I'm going to pull out 2 stencils that are hexagons. That is our very first mixed media recipe. Then our second one is a pre-made background. So I pulled out 2 that aren't really backgrounds. They're just cleanups. So these were when I had a big old huge mess on my desk. I picked them up and used this paper to wipe them off. So that's about as far as mixed media as they got. And then I'm just going to finish them. From close to my heart, I've got this awesome black cardstock. And then the paper that I shared with you guys was from Simple Stories Simple Vintage Coastal Collection. I'm also going to be using some black soot in the spray stain as my splatter for the third ingredient. And then I've got a couple Nouveau drops here that are going to go through my stencils. I've got New Fallen Snow, and then this one here, which I think is called Lemon Twist. And it was the perfect yellowy, orangey color for this color combination. And then, of course, I brought out some spun sugar. And as you can tell, it's my favorite ink pad because the blender is still white. Yes, that is how great and crazy I am of this color. So I probably had this pad for several years before actually using it. I've got some twine that was left over from a previous project that I didn't like, so it's already pre-cut. I have these gorgeous chipboard flowers that were from the July monthly kit from Some Assemblage Required. And then I have various die cuts from Simple Stories as well as 49 and Market. And I've got these amazing wood grain wood veneer pieces from Some Assemblage Required as well. I picked up this ribbon from the give take table at the retreat that I was just at. I have more wood pieces and acrylic pieces also from Some Assemblage Required. Just random bits and pieces from several different collections. I've got the seagulls, I've got the flower from the tropical sprinkles, as well as the tropical banner. I've got shells from the shell sprinkles, and then I also have shells from the aquarium sprinkles. So my goodness, little bits and pieces from everywhere that just matched this color scheme. Then I've got all of these really cool wood grain hearts that I felt like they matched beautifully as well. So I'm going to try to use up some of those. And then I found this cool gray sign that's also from 49 and Market. Now, this 49 and Market collection, some of them are from the Vintage Artistry Beached collection. Some of them are from the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Coastal collection. Some of them are from the 49 and Market Vintage Artistry Sun-Kissed collection, Sunburst collection. Oh my God, see, I don't even know anymore. There's so many words before the actual name of the collection that I just can't remember. And then my cute little starfish tray. Oh my God, I love that tray. Anyways, so I'm going to try to use some. I don't think I'm going to use the Simple Stories clusters because they do have green in them. And I really wanted to create a background where my photos will just pop off the page. So I'm going to take my color scheme and put it in the background and basically ignore the fact that my photos are full of all this green and all this blue. I'm going to let my photos talk to themselves or talk about themselves. And then my background is going to scream the color scheme, basically. I did pick this background because I felt like when I added my Nouveau to this that I could tone down this, I don't know, almost like a bronze color. I don't really know exactly what color this was because I made it several years ago. But I was hoping I could tone it down by putting this New Fallen Snow, which is actually glitter accent. So now I'm adding a whole bunch of glitter to my page. And things don't like to stick to glitter. I'm just letting you guys know that. It's going to be a hot mess when I go to put this layout together, but it's going to look fabulous. So that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to tone down this brown and get it a little bit more on the pastel-y side, just because I wanted it to be a little lighter, which I think on this piece it works, but for the other piece it doesn't really. But what I'm going to use this paper for, I think it'll be just fine. In all honesty, I have to say that on the computer screen and seeing these colors in real life, which we never do because we see them on the computer screen all the time, it is basically to your own interpretation when it comes to these color schemes, because what I see with my eye and my computer might be slightly different than what Janet sees with her eyes and her computer, right? Or the pixelation of the computers, things like that. So it could be just slightly different. Look at this. I'm going to color every inch of white with this spun sugar. Are you guys just, I'm awestruck. Like, who am I and what did she do with my original self? Oh my stars. Yes, I'm intentionally covering this whole background with pink. Oh my gosh. Now at first I thought I'm going to leave this background and this is going to be my background. I did exactly what I was supposed to do, is use a whole bunch of hexagons. I did exactly as Tara's sketch called for, with a whole bunch of hexagons on the background. Mine are a smaller scale. That's okay. But at least it's covered in hexagons, like hers is, like the challenge, the recipe asks for. I'm doing everything I should be doing for a change, right? Because normally I like to bend the rules just a little bit, because there are really not supposed to be any rules in scrapbooking. But, we like to challenge ourselves. I don't know why we do that, but we do. I think it's fun and gets us out of slumps sometimes. So anyways, I'm thinking about this. I really do like how I've got hexagons on top of hexagons, and then a big old splatter with hexagons in the background that make it look like I put this splatter on the back. It was a pre-made background, but I am altering it ever so slightly, so that way I have more to this background, because honestly, what I plan on doing with this background is what I saved it for in the first place, right? Is anytime I have a mess like this that really doesn't, now this is my favorite one right here, because there's so much more white and you can really get the good detail of what it is I'm trying to do here. But what I intended to do with backgrounds like this, and why I save them, is because they have a lot of color, they have a lot of personality, especially when you die cut them out or you use them for something other than just a background. So that is what I'm going to do here, and that's what the intention was when I first ended up with keeping these papers. Is I'm going to keep these, and eventually I'm just going to die cut out the color and then throw away the rest, right? Well, now I've been given this idea of, if I create all of this color throughout this entire piece of paper, then I don't have to throw anything out, right? I can still keep this background. All right, so I'm going to finish off all of this pinkiness, and then I will bring out my die cut machine and pull out more hexagons. Yes, I'm going to have hexagons on top of hexagons on top of hexagons. Forgive me for answering my phone. That was quite rude, but it is what it is. And I hate to miss a call if it's from my kids or my husband, in case it's an emergency. So I never know. Because if it's really not that big of a deal, they could text me. So when they call, it's kind of one of those things where I feel like I have to pick up the phone. All right, so I am going to go ahead and keep on trucking on. I wish this, I believe this is a Diana Reevely stencil. I want to say it is. And she does those large mixed media books. I want to say they're 8.5 by 11, and that's why she has these stencils in this size. But yeah, I wished it would have been a 12 by 12. That would have been cooler, but it's okay. Just like the the Kaiser Craft 12 by 12 that I used, I still had to move it around the page and get it to where it's not just in the middle, and I wanted it, from edge to edge. So yeah, it's just one of those things. All right, so I'm going to take all of these close to my heart stitching hexagon stencils and tape them together. And get them. I wanted to see if I needed that very teeny tiny one, and I opted not to. So I'm going to go ahead and tape them all together so that way I create hexagon frames rather than solid shapes. I felt like the solid shapes were really going to get lost and you weren't going to be able to really see all that goodness because they're just going to get hidden behind this or hidden behind that. You're only going to see the edges of these things. So I went and I cut out all of these frames. Now on my background, see, I'm not done yet. This is a real true mixed media for you guys. Normally I kind of cheat and show you guys how not to make a mess. And today I'm just pulling out everything. Now I am really, really enjoying using my Nuvo drops as my texture paste. For one, it is amazing every time I take off that lid and it's still wet. That's just mind-blowing, right? Where every time I take off my texture paste lid, they're dried. They're hard and hockey pucks and crusty, and I just end up throwing them away. I mean, yes, you can probably spend hours soaking them and trying to revive them and get them to their glorious, but as often as I use them, do I want to do that every time I want to pull them out? No, I do not. So I'm beyond buying for texture paste. Just to let you guys know, I think if I'm going to do texture paste, it's going to be Nuvo drops from now on. I'm just saying, because look, they're still wet and juicy every time I pull them out. And in a squeeze tube, like seriously, why hasn't the people that invented texture paste do this yet? Like, why? That's the fastest texture paste job I've ever done. All right, so this called for splatters, and I decided to put my splatters on before finishing the page. Not a good idea. I'm just saying, it never dried over the Nuvo drops, so every time I put my hand down, I ended up with a black splatter on my hand, and then I ended up with a black smudge all over the page. Oh yes, it was so fun. I'm just saying, it was terrible. Plus, I really did not like the overall effect in the end of my layout. It just looked muddied. I really was not happy. If I would have not glued all of these hexagons down like I did the very first hexagons, I probably would have redone this background and omitted the splatters until the end and probably changed my color. I just wanted to bring in a little bit more black because I'm not highlighting the black enough. If I'm being honest. But then I end up highlighting, I end up figuring out how to bring that black in. So the splattering did not need to be black. Yeah, it was not a good idea. All right, so the sunshine is coming in. I am loving the sunshine. I love the sunshine when it comes into my window. Well, it's not my window, it's my whole garage, if I'm being honest. I have my garage door wide open, and I am just enjoying the fresh air, and basically my whole wall of my craft room opens up, and it's not a window, and it's not a door, it's not this tiny little opening, it's the whole dang wall, and I can't tell you guys enough how much I enjoy having that. It's just every time I think about it, and I was like, I really want to get rid of that because that leaves me with a whole wall that I cannot use, right? But on days like today, or in the and quote unquote springtime, because Nevada really doesn't have a spring, it goes from scorching hot to freezing cold in 36 hours and you're done, right? But for some reason, we've had a really nice spring weather. It's been around the high 60s, low 70s, and just fabulous, right? No wind, no nothing, and I can enjoy my door being open. So it's fabulous. But again, I every time that it's winter time and I have this wall that I can't use, it's kind of frustrating. All right, so now that all my hexagons are down, I'm going to work on my border strip. So I'm still working on the background, but I'm not really working on the background. Now I'm working on my layering. That's what I'm doing. My background is finally done. Woo! I got all those hexagons. I got hexagons printed on top of my hexagons. I've got hexagons in the background. I think I did the hexagons well, and I'm glad I did because they are my favorite shape. I don't know why, but they're my favorite shape to play with and to work with, and they're just super fun. So I've got my hexagons, and now I'm working on my border strip. Now in Tara's sketch, she has this black band going all the way across the bottom of her page, which is about an inch or more above the bottom of the page, but you get the drift, right? It's in the bottom area, the bottom half of her layout. And I can barely see where she put scallops. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool, but they're kind of hidden. So I wanted to bring all my scallops forward, and I wanted them at the top and at the bottom. But I really struggle, especially now that I have scuffed up the edges of my peach piece. I really feel like I'm going to have a hard time lining them up. So I'm going to go ahead and build everything on the page. So I start with my one strip and put it all the way across the page. Now, what I should have done, instead of finishing the left page, I should have continued all the way across to the right page and then did the exact same thing for the top and then put these peach pieces on. But I like to learn things the hard way all the time. No matter how many directions I follow or how many classes I take, I still forget things and I still try to do things the hard way. Yay! And so, yes, I am building my entire left page first, and then I think I'm going to get my right page all lined up. Yeah, but that's okay. You know what? The majority of it's covered up, so nobody will know that. Okay, so and see, I keep tearing it up, and this strip was just not in the right spot. I could have cut all this out, but I really wanted to see how many people were gonna sit around for a 24-minute video. And if you guys do, I totally applaud you guys. I really, really do. I would put me on 2 times fast forward and watch you guys that way, or watch myself that way, because it's just, yeah, that's a long video. But I like leaving my mistakes in. I like leaving the process in. I think the only thing that I took out here was matting the photos and actually gluing the items down once I've laid them out, because basically you're watching the same thing twice. So I think that is pretty much the only thing that I have left out of my video. So you get to see it all. See how crooked that stripe is? Yeah, and I still think it's straight. It's not straight. Thank you. Anyways, so these are pictures in Jamaica. We just got off the boat and we are headed down to get ready to go get our instructions to swim with dolphins. And it's quite a path that we have to follow. And so Janet is snapping pictures of our train, of our group of friends, and I'm snapping pictures because I'm at the tail end. And I also took pictures of the walkway that we were walking on. I took pictures of like this little cove right here. I thought was amazing. So I stopped at the very, quickly and let the group pass me so I could take a picture of this cove. I took a picture of the back. I just was, thinking that I should have been at the very back of the group because in all honesty, we were missing these things, and I wasn't sure when we leave if I would have time to take these pictures. So I slowed the group down a little bit and stopped to take these pictures because I just thought that they were perfect, right? I'm going to take this spun sugar, but this time I pulled out my oxide, and I'm going to lighten up my wood pieces just to give them that lighter feel, because after I did my background in that dark bronze color and then I brought in more dark colors, I thought, where's this dark coming from? Like, I can't even pull it out. Well, I could, I guess, if I was looking at where the stems are coming out of the pumpkins, there's that dark shading, the shadow, something, but no, that's really pushing it, right? And so, yeah, I thought, no, I need to lighten these things up. And once I lightened them up, I really did like them. I enjoyed how much they looked a little better and not so dark, because again, this is a very pastel-y layout. And once I was done putting everything down, I really felt good with how dark and bright and vibrant my photos were. And then I put all these soft colors around my photos, and then I was able to actually see, like, my pictures actually stand up, but then all these beautiful accents are around them. So I feel like it worked out really well. All right, so my title's Beachy Fun Beach Day. Because, how many times can you say the word beached on one layout? About as many times as I said the word sunshine on one layout, right? So yes, Beachy Fun Beach Day, which I thought was pretty cool. Even though we didn't actually stay in the beach, we were still in the water quite a bit. That was fun. I wish they would have let us continue wearing our water shoes, though, because the platform that you stand on had a lot of algae on it, and it was very slippery. Even though everybody was a really good swimmer, you still have that fear of I'm going to slip and fall type of thing. And so, I wished I would have been able to still wear my shoes, but I get why not, because the dolphins are touching your hands, they're touching your feet, they're touching, and you're touching their fins. I mean, all sorts of things for these dolphins. And so, yes, it's definitely one of those things where you want to be careful. You don't want to hurt them, right? So I did take my solid hexagons and include them into my clusters. And then I'm also including them where I felt like blank spots were throughout the layout. So on my right side page, they're more scattered around the layout than they are on the left-hand page. But I am really happy. And I did take the ones that were mostly solid in that dark bronze color and not put them on the layout. So I did the same thing with all of the larger hexagons as well. I've got a good pile of those for later. That aren't so pink. In fact, they'll probably look really good on a steampunk page, if I'm being honest. I did also, at the very beginning, not outline, but ink the edges of all of these hexagons in black, but you really can't tell that I did that. Maybe you can if I hold it up. I don't know, but I did. So the last thing I'm going to do is I forgot to glue this little label on, and I'm going to pop up my hearts on little foam dots and glue them to the page, and I am finally done. Oh my goodness. Whew, this was definitely a marathon of mixed media. I'm not gonna lie. It was fabulous. I love the background. I love it all. And at first I was a little leery about putting these very bright photos on this very pastel-y background, but I think it really works because now my photos can be seen. They're right there. It's awesome. I really do love these. All right, you guys. So that is my layout for today. And now I'm going to go into my spiel of everything that is in the description box below. I have the Facebook group and the Facebook album, if you're already part of our Facebook group for Mixed Media Mayhem. It's actually called Mixed Media Mayhem Scrapbooking, because we were getting a lot of people that were more like canvas artists, and we just wanted to let everybody know that this is really scrapbooking instead of just mixed media. So anyways, we've got that. I also have a playlist down below, and then of course don't forget to check out Janet Fritz's channel, who is Galaxy Girl Creations, because she is my partner in crime when it comes to color craze. And then I have Christy's Beautiful Life. I have a playlist for her as well, and the Facebook group and album for Christy's Beautiful Life. If you want to go check out those that are not here on YouTube and see what everybody is creating with these amazing sketches. And Tara, thank you so much for an amazing sketch. It was very fun to incorporate all of these things and use your sketch. So anyways, again, thank you so much, and I'll check y'all later.